Since its first appearance in 2002, Stralis has not left indifferent carriers, competitors, or the transport press. He immediately won the victory in the international competition Truck of the Year, receiving the title Truck of the Year 2003. The Italians are proud to say that Stralis was born a winner. But the car's entry into the European markets was not strewn with roses. At first, the operators faced the facts of onboard electronics failures. Many of you probably have fresh memories related to the problems of the operation of these machines in the Baltic states. But childhood illnesses were left behind. According to the first persons of the concern, the expectations of customers were justified. Over the years of use in different countries of the Old World, Stralis has proven its reliability, maintainability, and moderate fuel consumption. Some of the transport workers do not like its design, but when choosing means of production it outweighs another argument, an acceptable level of profitability. It is not without reason that the volume of sales of the car exceeded 90,000 copies. The plant scrupulously maintains statistics of customer orders, according to which carriers choose every second Stralis in the most comfortable configuration, with an active space cabin. A third is accounted for by active time vehicles and the remaining 17% by active day models. But the rate of increase in demand for active space outpaces the growth of consumer interest in other versions, and this is natural. Truckers choose the best. By the way, the new cube cabin can be easily installed on the old first-generation Stralis chassis. Customer orders for 16-speed manual and 12-speed automatic transmissions are distributed roughly evenly, and the share of demand for 16-speed Eurotronic 2 gearboxes is small compared to their supply volumes. The most popular versions of long-haul vehicles are 4x2 truck tractors, although there are 6x2, the rarest ones are 6x4. For international and interregional cargo transportation, transporters prefer to take Cursor 13 engines with a capacity of 430 and 480 horsepower, manufactured in France. Cars, as already noted, are also not of Italian origin. They are produced in Ulm and Madrid. Machines of German assembly are delivered to Russia. The total number of possible options is more than 200, and the total number of all modifications and configurations is about 5.5 thousand. For basic versions of tractors are supplied to our country, including a budget one with a price of 65,000 euros. According to company representatives, the most popular model is the Stralis at 440S35T/P, which costs 65,700 euros, including VAT. Adaptation for Russia is marked with the letters RR in the specification, which implies preparation for harsh operating conditions, reinforced frame and rear axle beam, heating of the fuel receiver, tank and filters, a filter with a water presence sensor and a moisture separator and some other equipment. Introducing the new Stralis in early 2007, IVECO executives honestly admitted that the old one had problems with electronics, onboard computer failures, malfunctions in some control units and electrical circuits failed. Therefore, the Stralis in the new edition received improved circuit protection, and the volume of electrical wiring was reduced by almost half. Russian operators of Stralis identified dozens of typical failures for this car. The list contains trifling claims for a blown heated rear view mirror, although in bad weather this problem cannot be called trifling. The windshield wiper control unit, which also fails in the warm season, is criticized. The rear engine mount bracket needs to be strengthened. It often has to be changed due to high vibration load, although the Stralis practically does not move off the asphalt. It remains only to add the standard phrase, "What can you do, roads?" The most noticeable malfunctions on the Stralis AS440S43, which forced drivers to contact the repair shop, were the replacement of the onboard computer, shock absorbers, air springs, cab heater radiator, front wheel bearings, cab airbags, cabin hair dryer, windshield, brake adjustment levers. IVECO Stralis has its own advantages: low fuel consumption. It is well suited not only for service at branded service stations, but also for maintenance on its own. The exception, perhaps, is the cases of computer diagnostics of the engine, electronic systems, and control units. If a person is literate, he will be able to independently perform a number of maintenance operations and thereby save some of the money. But this is the case with the used car. On a new one, such savings are not appropriate. The client may lose the factory warranty. Of course, maintenance on this machine is not as easy as, say, on American trucks, but not as difficult as on some European ones. No tool is required to change the oil and filters. It is enough to have any puller, belt, chain, Service specialists of the metropolitan region note that mainly new cars with a factory warranty apply for service. This suggests that a number of transport companies carry out further maintenance of cars on their own. First of all, this concerns the transport operators of Western Siberia. With all the desire, you can't drive equipment from there to Moscow for troubleshooting. True, if serious breakdowns occur, customers from the regions come with them to a specialized metropolitan service station. The first minor breakdowns on the new IVECO Stralis occur at a mileage of 20 to 60,000 kilometers, that is, even before the first scheduled maintenance. And for cars imported from Europe, there are more applications. This is due to the fact that these cars, as a rule, depart at half of their resource, having 500 to 600,000 kilometers on the speedometer. If the mileage is less than 400,000 and the date of manufacture is not older than 2004, the car is considered fresh. There are fewer problems with such equipment, but the price is higher than the same tractors of 2003. The mechanics of branded service stations note that the second-hand may have problems with the gearbox, clutch and pneumatic system. Since it is not known under what conditions and in what mode a particular instance was operated, problems with the motor are not ruled out. Obvious defects like a rattling engine are rare, but there are plenty of hidden ones. In order not to get into an unpleasant situation on the road, on a car with a run in Europe, and even without a run in the Russian Federation, it is necessary to carry out a comprehensive diagnosis. In general, techies say, Stralis is a very easy-to-repair car. This is its strength. Drivers put a high level of comfort and well-thought-out ergonomics into the piggy bank of positive reviews. After all, this is not a Chinese truck with cheap cab trim. The total resource of the car is about 1.2 million kilometers, and according to this indicator, Stralis is on par with European cars of the same class. True, the greater the mileage, the higher the cost of maintaining the truck, and let's not forget that spare parts for it are not cheap. Perhaps that is why professionals do not recommend operating Stralis with a mileage of more than 1 million kilometers. There will be no trouble. And this is the weakness of the car, since many European counterparts are doing better. With moderate fuel consumption, Stralis is vulnerable to the content of water and foreign mechanical particles in it. Even a high sulfur content is not as detrimental to its fuel system as moisture, dirt, kerosene, gasoline, etc. Hence the early calls of carriers to the service. The protection of the pneumatic system is also weak, which does not withstand Russian frosts. A partial solution to the problem is the heating of the pneumatic system and filters, but this is by no means a panacea. In general, there is a special RR package, but not all operators are ready to pay for it. An absolutely reliable thing is the cab cylinder. It practically does not break from time to time, and it is necessary to change it ahead of schedule only if the driver's attitude to technology is frankly unsatisfactory. If you change the broken cab bushings in a timely manner, then you will never break an expensive cylinder. At the same time, it is not necessary to drive the car to the station. All that is required is to insert a crowbar between two silent blocks and shake it. There was a knock. It means it's time to change the bushings. And in our country, until a solid extraneous sound goes on the air, no one lifts a finger to check the condition of the part. So a solid cab suspension can be attributed to the strengths of IVECO Stralis. According to the cost of spare parts, the opinions of transport workers and service workers were divided. The first considers spare parts expensive, the second, acceptable. The truth, as usual, lies somewhere in the middle. The fact is that most original spare parts are not much more expensive than non-original ones. True, this is true for consumables, filters, seals, repair kits. With regard to complex nodes, this rule no longer works. But on the cost of maintenance, the opinions of operators and repairmen coincide, from 27,000 rubles per year, i.e. a little more than $1,000 or 800 euros. But the whole point is in this, the costs can be twice as much. Many people associated with the IVECO Stralis by profession say that this vehicle can provide high performance and decent commercial speed of cargo transportation. It is simple and easy to manage, however. For Russian conditions it is recommended to choose not a mechanical, but an automatic gearbox. With it, the probability of incorrect switching is minimized, and most driver errors are neutralized without consequences for the power unit. With Stralis, you can save on fuel costs. But will it be possible to reduce operating costs in general? After all, the prices for individual parts are serious. According to experts, Stralis can make your business profitable by building a car that takes into account the transport tasks to be solved. For this, the design provides attachment points for additional equipment. Experienced people claim that the cost of installing options at the factory and at dealers is the same, but this is not entirely true. If you buy the same tractor in Europe and install a larger tank, air conditioner, radio, additional headlights, etc. on it, you will certainly save money, because in Russia these parts will be sold subject to customs clearance, i.e. for more high price. Do not listen to the reviews of those who are familiar with IVECO Stralis without a year a week. They are ready to transfer the typical mistakes of drivers, the same notorious human factor, to the alleged lack of reliability of the car. In fact, this car meets the needs of carriers, otherwise there would not have been so many orders for it both in the capital itself and in remote regions.